Hey, what's going on, guys? So we did a video on the top 5 most buffed characters in Street Fighter V, so it's only natural that we also talk about the most nerfed characters as well. Now, we're not saying these characters are the worst in the game. We're just saying where they were and then how they got nerfed were more significant than the other characters that we personally feel. Anyways, Mir, how's it going?
Oh, I'm doing fine, thank you.
That's good, man. Alright,
Today,
so, what's that?
today it's all about today is all about how much the top tiers fell.
I think they did a good job, man, with the balance in this time, for sure. So, we don't have 5 characters this time, but we might do some special mentions. We think there's 3 that got nerfed more than the others. So, let's start with the good stuff, Mir. The good stuff. This was Public Enemy #1 from last season, maybe even the season before that, and that is Cammy. So, Capcom finally went after Cammy hard this season, where she kind of slipped through the cracks a little bit. So we'll talk about some of the notable nerfs that she got, and the first one is that they brought her stun even lower. So 900 stun, 900 HP. So very, very delicate character now. You basically can't make it. You don't want to drop that spiral arrow. You know, that happens a lot when Cammy's misconfirmed. You do not want to drop that now as Cammy. You're going to get blown up hard for it. This is one of her biggest nerfs, and it's our forward throw distance after hit has been significantly increased. She's a lot farther now, like Chun-Li distance almost, I would say.
Yeah.
So, pretty far. Not too crazy in the corner, it seems. It's more like mid-screen is like really bad from what I tested on that. So, it might not sound like too big of a deal, just nerfing her forward throw, but that's one of her main things that Cammy needs to open people up, because she doesn't have overheads, right? She's just throw and frame trapping you.
Yeah, one of the big strengths of Cammy was the fact that since she has high movement speed, and she had a good, it was a decent situation after the forward throw. You could basically kind of like pseudo loop you into the same situation over and over. And that was very dangerous, because even though the throw itself is not super damaging, that's where the take the throw meme came from. It's just like, you don't want to get frame trapped, because otherwise you're gonna die, but then you're gonna get thrown 6 times in a row. So like nerfing the throw just makes it that much harder for her to find her way in. To find her way in back.
So another significant nerf, is her crouching light punch went from +2 on block to 0. So this gives a lot of characters a fighting chance. It doesn't allow her to basically just medium punch you right after, and you won't be in block stun for as long, especially against characters with 3-framers as well. It gives you a chance to fight back.
Also, what this means is that you cannot use that as a tick throw, or rather you can, but you're gonna get jabbed out.
Yeah, that's true too.
You can still chain crouching light punch into itself, and that works as a frame trap. So if she does crouching light punch into crouching light punch as a chain, you can get counter hit out of it, but that's the only situation in which that would happen, basically. So you cannot, it's not as effective as a tick throw, it's not as effective as a frame trap, like you mentioned, because of course it's 0.
So it's like kind of like two nerfs, big nerfs to her throw in general, right there. One of her main tick throws, and the throw itself when she does land it. But Capcom didn't stop there, man. They kept on going. They went after her stun values on her 2 moves, Spiral Arrow and her Cannon Spike. Spiral Arrow went from 150 stun to 120, and her Cannon Spike, her uppercut, went from 200 stun to 150. The 150 was definitely called for. It's more in line with other characters for their uppercut, because Cammy, when she successfully shimmies you, the amount of stun is ridiculous. The heavy punch uppercut is crazy. She stuns you very, very often there. It's already a very powerful shimmy as it is. And her Spiral Arrow, just a slight stun nerf on that, just so, once again, you're not really too close to that stun range from her throwing you right after, because she gets Oki after her Spiral Arrow, and Capcom didn't go after that.
These are both of her combo enders. I don't think he uses anything else. So basically that means that every combo does less stun. And I remember pro players mentioning this, especially Infiltration mentioned the stun values on the uppercut like a long time ago.
Yeah, 200 stun was absurd. It's crazy. And finally, her V reversal. Still one of the best V reversals in the game, though, I would say. Went from -4 on block to -6, just making sure that if you block Cammy's view reversal, you should absolutely be able to punish it with any character. Yeah. Because -6 is a lot now. It's still a very powerful view reversal since it switches sides, and if you're not looking for it, it can catch you by surprise quite easily. Not to mention, you know, it cancels from block stun, so most of the time it will hit you. But yeah, they're trying to make sure Cammy doesn't get out of the corner for free, basically, and her defense isn't that good. I forgot to mention also her back medium punch, which she uses as an anti-air. It's an unintended anti-air that works. Now they reduce the hitbox a little bit so she can't hit people right behind her head. So if you cross her up, like if you got a good distance on crossing her up, it should work. She shouldn't be able to back medium punch you.
There's literally a trigger on the move's hitboxes that prevents them from hitting behind her.
That's cool.
Like it cannot hit cross up. Like that's what it says. So they're going after it, of course, because it's like public enemy #1, really. Like the back medium punch alone.
I looked at the hitbox or whatever, and just to see the slight change to it. It's not crazy, but I haven't actually played too many Cammies recently, to be honest.
Yeah, she's kind of fallen off of favor.
Yeah,
a lot of people jump ship
in real time. Yeah, to see it in real time. But anyways, yeah, like that's it for Cammy. I mean, like I said, a lot of these don't sound significant, but they actually are quite significant. Since her game planet is quite linear for this character.
Yeah,
more Cammy stuff in the future when I go over her patch notes. Okay, let's talk about the next character we feel Mir got significantly nerfed, and that was Guile.
Yes.
So Guile, another actually really popular character in the tournament scene. So they went after him in a lot of different angles, and all of this stuff actually mirrors the stuff you requested in your wish list. When we took out too.
I'd like to think that they watched it.
Well, don't say that, Mir, because if people are salty, they're gonna come after you. Right? Won't have to come after Capcom. Yeah.
Then like ignore what I said.
Okay. Anyways, first thing they went after Guile's Sobot kick. This is forward back medium kick. So they went after the startup. They went after the recovery. They went after the movement. He goes and the hurt box. So they nerfed it in every way possible. Very interesting.
Yeah, this is for the forward moving one, especially like the movement forward.
Yeah,
that's what caught a lot of people because Guile is not a character with super long limbs, or super long attacks. I should say normal attacks. But the fact that the Sobot kick moves him forward allows him to attack at a range where you would normally not contest, like would not hit you, and so it can catch all the things, right? Like it can catch buttons, it can catch people moving forward, which is usually what it would use it for, and on top, you know, the sonic boom. It just is a really powerful tool. So the fact that it moved so far.
Yeah, like I mean, the Guile players are just spamming this move basically in tournament play because it's just so powerful. It's high profile, you know. You know, the Sobot kick is still good even after all these crazy nerfs, but it's just not abusable. It's just not unusable. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about his special moves now. This was interesting. I don't think really anyone asked for this, but Capcom, they went after Guile's zoning, but they also went after his anti-zoning. So they nerfed his flash kick fireball invincibility. So it used to be on, I think this is the heavy kick. I don't remember what other versions, but it was frame 1 projectile invincible. Now it's frame 3. So this means that basically if you throw like a meaty fireball or something on Guile, he can't just wake up flash kick and hit you. And it also can't interrupt certain block strings that lead into fireball, and Guile can, you know, flash kick right in the middle of it. So it's interesting that Capcom did this, and you know, it definitely is a big nerf for characters that, you know, where Guile is actually going toe to toe with in a fireball war up close, because that gave him an edge, you know, the flash kick through it.
Also, the light flash kick used to be projectile invincible as well, and they changed that to not be projectile invincible.
They just completely took it out. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Okay, now for his sonic booms, all of his sonic booms now have 2 more recovery frames. So now the total frames is 40 from 38. So they're going after Guile's sonic booms, and so that's a big deal. They're recovered. It's still +2 on block. Like the frame data is still the same. It's just that you have that much more time to get in on Guile. It's a big deal. It decreases the amount of time he can throw the next sonic boom and other things like that. So it's a nerf to his zoning. And then furthermore, they made it so it's like sonic boom. Doesn't matter if it's V-skilled or not. They increased the speed of it. That might sound like a buff, but it's a nerf because what Guile used to do is if he didn't have the life lead, or if he was full screen away, he was able to throw a light sonic boom and use it to protect him because it was so slow, and it was able to basically walk behind it and use it as a shield. You can't really do that anymore. He's got to commit more, he's got to dash more, and that's a big nerf to him.
Yeah, that means, you know, if you're dashing after it, well, first of all, your movement is limited because, of course, during the dash you're committing to something.
Yeah.
And you cannot block, and you can only move a certain, you know, set distance, right, with each dash. And it also means that since the fireball itself is faster, if you're using it for zoning, an opponent can jump earlier and has the opportunity to catch you.
Yeah.
In the recovery frames, right? While with a slower fireball, of course, the opponent has to jump later, and which means, you know, you have more time for anti-airing.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. And like another thing too is they nerfed Guile's hard punch very slightly. They made it 9 frames startup from 8. And it's only, even though Guile's crouch and hard punch is 1 frame slower, if you add on to that the 2 more frames of sonic boom recovery, it's that much harder for Guile to anti-air with crouch and hard punch. There's a lot of times Guile would like throw a slow sonic boom, and when you walk forward, obviously he can't do flash kick, so he has to rely on crouch and hard punch. But now that's a lot harder to do because what you said, the fireball is faster now. So I feel like Guile got nerfed pretty hard in season 4. He did. So
yeah, it definitely was like pretty good nerfs. I would say, like, they went after what made Guile strong, but they also gave him something, you know, back in return in the form of other buffs. So I feel like Guile's changes were smart, I would say.
Yeah.
Like they were like, they just didn't shoot him. You know, they didn't just shoot him in the legs and leave him.
Yeah, just keep in mind, guys, we're only talking about the nerfs. We're not talking about the buffs that these characters got either. So it may sound a little harsh the way the video is formatted. But yeah, okay. Let's talk about our third and final character mirror that we feel got nerfed the most, and that is Abigail. So Abigail also, he was the most popular like grappling character we'd see in tournaments. I mean, if you don't count, you know, Mika. There's a lot of the Zangief players especially went to Abigail instead for choice. So I can see why Capcom has targeted Abigail here. And Abigail's been seeing a lot of nerfs, man, ever since he was explosive at the beginning of Arcade Edition. So the first thing is they reduce his stun from 1075 to 1000. That's a crazy nerf. I don't know why Capcom did this. They went after Abigail's HP first. When it was, you know, they went down to, what was it, 1075, right?
It was, it was 1100. Yeah. It was 1100, and they nerfed it to 1075. But they buffed the stun because it used to be 1050.
Yeah.
And they buffed it to 1075 as well.
now
they nerfed it to 1000. Yeah.
So this is a big deal because now this means that Abigail has like average stun. You know, he's got a lot of HP as this big dude, but he's gonna stun just as easily as, you know, a normal character like Ryu or something. So I am noticing him stunning Abigail a lot more now, and so, you know, stunning him is gonna tack on a lot of damage, and it's gonna make his, you know, insane amount of HP just not as crazy as it was before overall, because you can stun him faster, right? So that means all your mix-ups that usually stun a character will also stun Abigail. So big deal. Furthermore, they went after some of his normal standing hard punch. They extended the hurt box duration, which just means with punishing, standing hard punch is a lot easier. Abigail will throw that a lot because it's one of his longest range normals. And they went after back hard punch as well, Mir. It's got back hard punch got really good startup. You know, was it like 6 frames or something? It's crazy. They added 5 more recoveries on whiff and some hurt box changes as well. So just going after his visible normals. I can't believe they didn't go after his crouching hard punch, man. Honestly, it blows me away, Mir. It blows me away they didn't go after his crouching hard punch.
Well, I mean, back hard punch, definitely a really powerful tool because you can use that in neutral to deal with fireballs. So you can use that. You know, you can just kind of, before you could just whiff that safely, right? And, you know, it was basically unpunishable on whiff. Sending heavy punch, same thing because of the hurt boxes. I guess they went after, you know, like just randomly pressing buttons in neutral. Crouching hard punch, I guess, there's not something that you use in the same way. It's more like this really big sweeping anti-air, and I guess they wanted to keep that since, you know, one of the better strategies to deal with a lot of Abigail's pressure is to jump over him, right? Because you can jump over the run, you can jump over the command throws, of course, and they have massive recovery. So I guess they wanted to keep the gameplay intact, having the threat of crouching hard punch still be a thing, and then it's cancelable into massive damage, right? You can do run, punch, super, whatever. So I don't know. Personally, we talked about this before, right? I would have liked to see it change too, but I can see why they wouldn't do it. I can see why they wouldn't change it.
Okay, next up, they went after Abigail's command throw range. They reduced the range on all the strengths in general. It's a significant range nerf. There's actually a really funny clip on Twitter I'll show you guys. It's ridiculous, especially the EX command throw range. I think the light kick command throw is actually the furthest range he has now, and this has actually messed up a lot of Abigail's Oki, especially after super. Abigail had a 50-50 after landing super where he can dash forward and to grab whatever. Now he's out of throw range on that. And now it's more concentrated that Abigail is actually a brawler. A brawler character, not a command grab character. Like his command grab seems like Nikali range now. And he has to be right next to you, So this is a big deal because now when Abigail is doing block strings on you, if you block that first hit, you're almost certain that he's out of command throw range. So you're a lot safer. You're not as scared anymore, right? And you can just wait it out basically before it gets close. Whereas before it was like 3 lights. Remember 3 lights and you're still command throw, which is crazy, dude. And Abigail's got one of the best command grabs in the game. It could be lights out if he grabs you.
Yeah, for sure. Especially on top of like I said, everything else that he has is also scary. It's not just the command grabs. It's his normals as well, right? Crouching hard punch being so powerful to snipe people that try to jump out of the command grab. So like the mix-up is quite scary. Yeah.
And finally, of course, Capcom did not forget about V-Trigger 1, one of the biggest robbery V-Triggers in the game. They made it from a 2-bar V-Trigger to a 3-bar V-Trigger, and they reduced the duration as well, didn't they?
Yeah, overall. They did. They reduced the overall frames, like the overall frames of duration. I think the special moves consume, well, not the special moves, but
the charge attacks.
Yeah, the charge attacks consume a little bit less V gauge,
but it's overall less
to compensate. But yeah, it lasts less in neutral, right? Because before, for a 2-bar V trigger, you could just pop it and sit in neutral forever and it would never drain.
Yeah.
Now it's a 3-bar and it doesn't last as long. I mean, it's pretty big nerf. It will definitely make V trigger 2 more interesting.
Yeah, and I've already seen some cool setups for it too. So maybe more Abigail players will use V-Trigger 2. So yeah, these are pretty much our these character nerfs so far. I mean, I've already, in the Twitter world or word of mouth, there's some pro players that have already switched their mains. Daigo is not looking at Guile anymore, right? He's looking at other characters already because of the Guile nerfs. We've heard Itabashi Zangief is actually taking a look at Zangief again. So he's even, dropping Abigail. So there's a lot of changes. I'm sure there's a lot of Cammy players that are looking at other characters now. They want a character that's more, worth it to learn, right? And the ease of use of Cammy is not as worth it anymore, if you think about it, right? After all these nerfs. So there's already changes happening because of these. So we'll see how that rocks the boat in the future. And that's pretty much it. There are some special mentions on characters that got some big nerfs, such as like Minot, for example.
Yeah.
But we'll go through these characters more in detail in the future as we break down the patch notes. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So let us know, guys, in the comments below. What do you think about these 3 characters? Do they deserve what they got? Did they have to be nerfed this hard?
The fall of the top tier.
Yeah. Are you guys happy about that? Let us know. And as usual, guys, we'll get these patch notes for you guys soon, and some more content in the future. So be sure to subscribe to the channel, and of course, like the video. Amir, once again, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.